Skylar was born on February 10, 1996 in 2012, a 16-year-old young girl and an only child. She also lived in a happy home and a healthy family with her parents, Mary and Dave. Their home was in West Virginia. Skylar was an exemplary student, enjoyed school, and had hope for the future. She knew that by continuing his studies, she could achieve great success in life. Skylar enjoys reading and music, and in her spare time, she works part-time at a local fast food restaurant and earns pocket money. Skylar had a completely normal and good life, and like many teenagers, he was active on social media, and Twitter was one of her favorite ways to connect with his peers. Inseparable friends. Skylar had two best friends, Rachel Schoaf, a lovely girl with orange hair who loved to sing and perform in the school's theater group, and Sheila, Eddie, a popular girl who always had a smile on her face and was cheerful. Skylar and Sheila knew each other since childhood, and when a new girl named Rachel came to their school, they became close with her, and a strong bond of friendship was formed between them. Skylar, Rachel, and Sheila had become friends who never separated. They did all their work together, and there were no secrets between them. Their accounts on media were full of photos and videos they took together, and it was clear how close they are. Sheila, Eddie was born on September 28, 1995. Her mother and father were divorced. Rachel Schoaf was born on June 10, 1996. Her mother and father were named Patricia and Rusty Schoaf. She was an only child, and her parents were separated. In the three-person group of Skylar, Rachel, and Sheila, Skylar was always the member who proceeded with logic and tried not to do anything that would make the others disappointed or cause trouble. They did not think about their work. They were reckless and inconsiderate teenagers, and this made Skylar the stability point of their group. Skylar usually helped his friends to make the best decision and sometimes gave them advice. And the friendship that fell apart. The friendship of these three people was better every day than yesterday, and it grew until they reached the second year of high school. Rachel and Sheila were similar in many ways and had more interests in common. Both of them were dating different boys and were sexually active. Skylar, however, still did not see in himself that he wanted to start a relationship with someone. The focus of Rachel and Sheila's talk was about their boyfriends, boys at school, sexual issues, and such things. In short, it didn't take long for Skylar to feel like an extra. Rachel and Sheila would go out together and match their clothes at school without telling Skylar, and many times they would ignore Skylar completely. Skylar felt more and more rejected every day, and Rachel and Sheila didn't care about this. One night when these three were hanging out together, Rachel and Sheila kissed, and Skylar took a picture of them. Skylar later told them that he showed the picture to some of her other friends. This made the girls, especially Sheila, gets very angry and blames Skylar more. A little later, Skylar realized that Rachel and Sheila don't even talk easily in front of him anymore, and nothing is the same anymore. These three people argued with each other every day, and the friendship between them was more tense than ever. Despite all this, they still hung out together. But Sheila had a bad grudge against Skylar and didn't want to let go of the past events. Disappearing on the night of July 5, 2012, Skylar finished her shift at the fast food restaurant where she worked and returned home. It was late, and she was getting sleepy. She said goodnight to her parents and then went to her bedroom to rest. The next day started very normal. Skylar's parents woke up in the morning and got ready to go to work. Their waking time was not the same as Skylar's. That is, they did not see their daughter that morning. Skylar's parents went to work until that evening. Skylar's workplace called them and informed them that Skylar did not show up for her shift that day. Skylar was a responsible person, never missed a shift, and always showed up on time. Her parents also knew that Skylar planned all of her activities, and such an occurrence seemed really unreasonable. Since it was summer and school was over, Mary and Dave concluded that Skylar probably went out with her friends and did her work. Twisting, although such a thing was far from Skylar. But her parents said to themselves that no matter what happens, Skylar is another teenage girl. They went to her bedroom and opened the door. Dave noticed that the curtain-like screen in front of the room's window had been moved, and there was a stool under the window. It became clear that Skylar had sneaked out of the house last night after saying goodnight to her parents and had not returned yet. Her parents were worried. They immediately called the police and reported their 16-year-old daughter missing. Sheila came to Skylar's family home while the police were gathering evidence. Skylar's parents have known Sheila since she was very young and loved her like their own daughter. Sheila was very worried about Skylar and wanted to sympathize with Mary and Dave. Sheila told Skylar's parents that last night at 11 o'clock they arranged with Skylar to go out together. Then they followed Skylar by car and drove around the city. Then they dropped Skylar off at the street of their house. Skylar's parents passed the information Sheila gave them to the police. The police went to the CCTV cameras outside our building. The videos from these cameras showed that at 12:30 midnight, a car stops a little in front of Skylar's house. A little later, Skylar comes and sits in the back seat of the car. Then the car leaves at 12:35. In the rest of the videos, there is no news, not since the car returned or Skylar's return home. And Sheila immediately helped Skylar's parents with their work after starting the investigation. A large number of posters of Skylar's photo were pasted in different parts of the city. He got help from school children. He became more active on social networks, posting about Skylar's disappearance and her concern about the disappearance of her best friend. At this time, Rachel went to a religious Catholic summer camp for 2 weeks, then went on vacation and returned home after the summer. Summer was over and the new school year had begun, but there was still no word from Skylar. People at school made a lot of rumors and attributed everything to Skylar. Some said she was stolen, some said she ran away, and many of the rumors revolved around the fact that Skylar went to a party that night due to the overdose of hallucinogens and alcohol. He died, and her friends hid his body somewhere out of fear. The police had heard the names of Sheila and Rachel many times during their investigations. They were the best friends of the victim in the case, and since they were very close to each other, it was possible that these two people had information that even Mary and Dave did not know. As the rumor spread, overdose and drug use among students, the police paid more attention to Skylar's friends. It was clear that these three people were very close to each other, and if something had happened in the middle, it would not have been possible for them to expose each other. On the other hand, Sheila and Rachel are the last. There were people who saw Skylar. That is, these two people were the biggest clues in the case, and the police was not going to let them go easily. The detectives of the case interrogated these two girls very seriously and deeply, but the case became more difficult after each play. Sheila repeated a certain story with full confidence. Rachel was a little nervous. However, the stories of both of them were exactly the same, and there was not even a small difference. One of the detectives who interrogated the two girls was named Jessica Colbank. Colbank said in an interview with the media that Sheila appeared cool and confident in front of the police, but Rachel had a more restless and nervous behavior. The police were quite sure that these two people know something, and for unknown reasons, they are not willing to give information to the police. Despite the footage from street cameras that showed the car never returned to Skylar's house, Sheila Rachel stuck to their story. It had been almost 6 months now that there was no sign of Skylar. She had completely disappeared and no one had heard of her. The case progress was extremely slow and the police had no leads to follow. Sheila and Rachel were still too close and inseparable friends, and school continued as usual. Rachel tried her best to maintain her appearance at school and not look suspicious, but she couldn't control her behavior at home either. One night in December, Rachel's mother called 911 and said her daughter needed help. There was screaming and crying in the background of the call. Rachel's mother said that her daughter was getting out of control and might hurt herself or others. Rachel had a seizure. She was nervous. The emergency came and took Rachel to a mental health center to be treated there. Rachel was hospitalized for a week and had no contact with Sheila. On January 3, 2013, Rachel Schoaf asked to meet with a lawyer, and it was here that she admitted that Rachel's dead Skylar was raised in a religious family, and apparently, because of her beliefs, she could no longer deal with her conscience and what she had done to the team. Her lawyer said that on the night of July 5, 2012, Skylar was taken to a remote wooded area and stabbed to death. Apparently, they had been planning to kill Skylar for several months. That night, when they reached the forest area, Rachel and Sheila told Skylar to go get the lighter from the trunk of the car. When Skylar got out, they got out and killed her. After that, they threw her body in a forest. First, they were going to dig a grave for her, but the soil in that area was too hard and they couldn't, so they hid the body with stones and garbage. Rachel agreed to take the police to the area. There, the police could find the remains of this 16-year-old girl. When asked why they killed Skylar, Rachel said, "We just didn't like her anymore." She also stated that when they took Skylar to the desired location, they counted to 3 together and then tried to stab their friend. Skylar tried to run away, but could not. She also repelled one of Rachel's blows and injured Shof's leg. Rachel said that they stabbed Skylar until there was silence and no sound could be heard from their friend. So far, Rachel has confessed to everything, and she hasn't seen Sheila for several weeks. The police still haven't dealt with Sheila. On the other hand, she knows that Sheila is colder than the one who wants to lose herself or reveal everything. The police attach communication wires to Rachel's body to record the sound and then send Rachel to see Sheila. Rachel tries to interrupt the discussion of Skylar's murder, but Sheila completely twists the word and does not reveal anything. He fails to catch her, so they go to Sheila's car, and after investigations, Fran finds Skylar's blood in the car. And after Rachel's confession and the blood found in the car, she condemns Sheila as well. Rachel Shof accepted the charges against her in court and was sentenced to 30 years in prison for second-degree murder with the possibility of parole after 10 years. Sheila did not accept the charges and claimed innocence, but all the evidence was against her. Sheila Addy was sentenced to life imprisonment for the crime of kidnapping and first-degree murder, with the possibility of applying for parole after 15 years. Currently, both Sheila and Rachel are 25 years old and are serving their sentences in the LCCJ prison.